The morning was buzzing inside the glass-walled lobby of Morgan & Co., one of the most prestigious investment firms in London. Executives in sharp suits hurried past, their leather shoes clicking against the polished marble floors. In the corner, bent over a mop bucket, was a man in faded work clothes, quietly wiping away footprints that others didn't even notice. "Oi, careful not to miss a spot," one young associate smirked, tossing his empty coffee cup near the man's feet. Laughter echoed from a small group nearby. "You'll want to clean that before Mr. Morgan comes down. He doesn't like a dirty lobby." The cleaner looked up, his eyes calm, but said nothing. Instead, he picked up the cup, dropped it into the trash, and returned to his task. To most, he looked invisible, just another background figure in a world of suits and ties. But what no one knew was that the man was not a cleaner. His name was Daniel Morgan, the very founder of the company. For years, Daniel had built his empire from scratch, working tirelessly to create opportunities for those willing to put in the effort. Yet, as the company grew, he began to worry. Were his employees still grounded? Did they value humility and respect, or had success made them arrogant? To find out, Daniel occasionally disguised himself as a cleaner, slipping into the building unnoticed. That morning, his test unfolded before his eyes. While some associates ignored him, others whispered jokes and scoffed. One even bumped into him deliberately, muttering, "Move aside, old man. This is a place for professionals." Hours later, the staff was called into the grand conference hall. A major announcement was to be made, and anticipation hung thick in the air. The young associates who had mocked the cleaner whispered among themselves, curious about the new executive they expected to meet. The doors opened. A hush fell over the room. The same man they had ridiculed, the one in worn shoes and a cleaner's shirt, walked confidently to the podium. But now, instead of pushing a mop, he wore a tailored suit. Gasps filled the air. "Good afternoon," he said, his voice calm but commanding. "I'm Daniel Morgan." The room froze. Faces turned pale, jaws dropped, and whispers spread like wildfire. The very man they had dismissed as unworthy was, in fact, the one who signed their paychecks. Daniel paused, scanning the crowd. He could see the guilt etched on certain faces. But instead of anger, his eyes softened. This company was built on hard work, respect, and compassion. No role is small. The person you pass in the hallway, the one cleaning your mess, the receptionist answering your calls, each one matters. A pin-drop silence filled the room. Then he shared a story of his own youth, working nights as a janitor to afford school, scrubbing floors when others thought he'd never amount to anything. The lesson hung heavy in the air. Never mistake someone's worth by their appearance. One young associate, the same who had thrown his coffee cup, stood with trembling hands. "Mr. Morgan, I didn't realize—" His voice cracked, his arrogance dissolved. Daniel gave him a long look, then nodded gently. "Now you do." The room erupted into quiet applause, not because of a business victory, but because of the raw reminder of humanity. Many left that hall with their hearts heavier, their minds changed forever. And from that day forward, whenever someone saw a cleaner, they didn't see just a cleaner. They saw a human being, worthy of respect, dignity, and kindness.